Cool, let's begin. So I want to start the session off by asking you all a few questions. Can everyone hear me? Okay. The first question is, how many of you have heard about the term audience engagement? Pretty much everybody, that's good. And how many of you think that it's something important that we should be caring about as event organizers? Everyone again. And how many of you could come up on stage next to me right now and tell me and everybody else exactly what those two words mean within 30 seconds or less? So super concisely. Yeah, that's why they gave me 30 minutes rather than 30 seconds to try and tell you, so I don't blame you. Right, so the term audience engagement, the problem with it is that it's a really much discussed topic. However, the core concept of what true engagement really means is still incredibly elusive. In the competitive marketplace like today, we know that as event organizers, we should be building strong and lasting connections with our attendees. But how many of us really understand what that term means? I think the word engagement is probably the most overused and underachieved concept within the world of events. But it's not just the events industry that has a problem with this word. So many other industries are struggling to really understand exactly what engagement means for them and for their audience. For example, we've just launched a platform which is targeted at increasing student engagement within the higher education sector. And that's because they have exactly the same problem that we have within the events industry. They believe that bums on seats means that your audience is actually engaged and taking part, but that's not necessarily the case. I don't know about many of you, but when I was at university, yes, I attended the lectures, but more often than not, I was hungover or tired, so it wasn't really engaging. I can see this lady here, she's like, yeah, that was me. And I mean, it's a bit like me today after the Event Tech Awards last night, but that's exactly my point. And in fact, it reminds me of a story. We were working with an event organizer about 3 to 4 months ago, and they came back to us, and what they said was, yeah, we have 80% of our attendees that said that they would come back to our event again. And I said, wow, 1, why do you need our help? And 2, 80% is a really solid number. So I had to dig a little bit deeper into how they'd got to that number, this number that was plastered all over their marketing collateral and campaigns. And they said, so we sent out a survey to 400 people after the event. 10 people came back, and out of those 10 people, eight of them said that they would come back to our event again. So that's where the 80% had come from. But that left 390 people that were completely unaccounted for. 390 people that hadn't even bothered to open their email or even respond. So what does that really tell you about their levels of audience engagement? Anyway, engagement is a huge buzzword, and if you dig deeper, you'll find that it really doesn't have a true meaning. In fact, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. If I had got you all up on stage to say exactly what engagement meant, chances are you would have had something completely different to say. So if we look at some industry leaders, for example, Adam Azor, who is the ex-VP of Integrated and Digital Marketing at Jack Morton Worldwide, which is a leading global brand experience agency, he says, to me, audience engagement is creating an interactive narrative with your attendees to create a desired outcome. This can be via practical experience, a two-way dialogue, or increasing via technology. Or if you look at Mike Piddock, who's the CEO and founder of event platform Glisser, he says, audience engagement is providing an outlet for audiences to interact with, be it through an empowered presenter or physical stimulus. It's making sure you don't presume the attention of your attendees for the duration of your event. They're only human, and their concentration will waver without a reason to focus. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems to be a buzzword surrounded by more other buzzwords. So it doesn't necessarily make the term audience engagement any clearer. So what I think we should do is scale it right back. Take away all those fluffy terms and actually think about ourselves as attendees and the times that we've engaged with an event. So then we can think about what audience engagement means. Does it mean how many questions are asked at a conference? Or how many Instagram-worthy photos are taken at a festival? How many stalls are visited at an exhibition? Or how many business cards are exchanged at a networking event? It might mean these and it might not, but it's all relevant, and I'll explain what I mean by that a little bit later. I know you're looking at this photo and thinking that's a really weird photo, and I agree it is. But when I Googled business cards and networking events, that's what came up. I did think for a while to get you into groups of 5 and do a weird star and engage with each other, but then I thought, no, I thought better of that. So most broadly, the term audience engagement and engagement itself is all about interaction. It's about creating that desired outcome from your attendees, getting them to respond in the way that you as an organizer want or need them to respond. It's creating that deliberate strategy that has those active participants who want to be a part of your community. They want to take part. They want to be at your event. So they ultimately help you with your goals as an event organizer. It's important to remember that your event takes place in a physical space and not behind a screen. So having audience engagement means taking full advantage of that physical space. You're turning your attendees from viewers into active participants. What we live in today is called the experience economy. We're living in that experience-led world. So your attendees and today's premium attendees want to co-participate. They want to take part in your event. They want to collect those experiences. And if they're positive or negative, sometimes negative, they're excited to go and share them with each other and with their peers and friends. So the big question is, how do you create this audience engagement at your events? Well, it's all about your goals as an organizer. What is it that you want to achieve from the event? I'm sure most of you will agree with me when I say that every event has a purpose, so therefore every event has a desired outcome. Whether you're running a business event, for example, you know that you're there to sell a product, to teach a new behavior, or communicate a new message. If you're running a consumer event, you're there to create a wonderful experience, an incredible vibe, give people those memories that they can walk away with. Whatever your event type, it's important that as an organizer, you make sure that your goals are at the very heart of your strategy. Only then will you get true engagement from your attendees if you know what it is that you want them to do. It's important to remember that audience engagement doesn't just take place anymore at the event when people are face-to-face. It needs to be nurtured way before the event begins, and your attendees need to feel the love from you as an organizer way after the event is over. Whatever your event type, you have to make sure that your attendees are at the very heart of your event. They're the ones that keep the energy pumping. They're the ones that will ensure that your event has a healthy future. If you don't have those attendees, then how can you expect to run an event in the first place? For many events, you know that you have to persuade and entice your attendees to begin. And in the world of consumer exhibitions and events, competition is so incredibly fierce. And there's so many people that are vying for your attendees' time, attention, and money. So you need to create a point of difference at your event. Create something that this community would want to be a part of and they feel like they need to be a part of. I think even in internal corporate events, you have to make sure that your audience, no matter how captive they are, they want to be there. They're not just there because they feel like they have to be there. And just sending an email is really no longer enough. Everyone needs to build on that community and they need to draw their audience in so that they feel, your customers need to feel as if they're involved and they're part of your event. Building that online community, and there's so much technology out there now that will let you do this, is allowing you to curate content from previous events as marketing collateral and share your content and encourage other people to share their content too. But you have to make sure that if you are having a community at your event, that it's not just a one-way street. As an organizer, you just can't push out your information. You have to make sure that everyone feels that they can share, participate, and have a voice. You can keep that online community going during the event, and obviously that's something that we're most used to. We're used to starting dialogue, sharing our updates. We're used to connecting with people, sharing our photos, videos, comments. But you need to make sure that your event is the go-to place. It's the place where they really feel like they have to and want to be a part of. Post-event is probably the thing that organizers struggle with most, keeping that conversation going, but it really is the most important part. That online community that you nurtured pre-event, why not use it after the event as well? You can use it as a way to offer promotions, vouchers, further emphasize the importance of your speakers, sponsors, exhibitors. Don't let people forget about your event once it finishes. But the bigger question is, how do you measure something like that? Oh, sipping a coffee. How do you measure something like audience engagement? Well, it's really important to go back to those goals that you started with. Did you create that community that people wanted to be a part of? Did you use technology successfully? You didn't just throw thousands of different platforms at your audience expecting one will stick. You really understood who they were and what kind of technology they would want to use. Did you make it easy for your attendees to get involved and to start those conversations? Did they answer those polls? Did they take those Instagram-worthy photos? Did they see all of your exhibitors? Did they exchange their business cards and their networking events? Whatever you wanted as an organizer, only can you know if it was successful once your goals are checked off. There's so much technology out there that actually allows you to view all of this engagement in one platform. You no longer need to go out there and digest little snippets of information from 5 or 6 different places. You can view it all in one place and really get that bigger picture of your event and measure not just the volume of people that were there, but how they really felt. So it's about taking that stupid 80% that organizer had and making it real. Did you ask your audience about their opinion? Did they have an input? Oh, remember what I said about the attendees? Only if you ask them whether it was good or not will you be able to have a healthy future as an event organizer. Your community will keep returning to your events if they're satisfied with them. But I can see you thinking, why is any of this important? She's not about to eat the bus, by the way. If you simply have no engagement at your events, then there is no point. That event that had 10 people that even bothered to open the email will not have a successful future or any future at all. If your audience is passive and unresponsive, how do you ever hope to achieve your goals as an organizer? And achieve the goals of your exhibitors and sponsors and speakers, all those people that helped you put the event together in the first place. We're living in a real-life world, and we're living in that experience-led world. So people need to be a part of that experience, not watching it from afar, but really being part of it. If you want to have a change in behavior from your attendees, how do you ever expect them to respond in the way that you want them to respond if they're a passive audience, if they are that viewer and not the active participant? Given our location today, there is such an emphasis on how technology can help you with engagement and interaction at your events. I mean, our technology included. We were shortlisted for the Engagement and Interaction Award, by the way. I want to slip that one in there. But actually, there is, no matter how much technology you have, if you don't have your basics right first, how do you ever expect to build that community? So get rid of those, uninteresting speakers, those passive people that are at your event, those bands or DJs that are way past their time. Think about your attendees and what they're going to want. Okay, I'm going to finish with a question for you guys. How many of you feel, as an event organizer now, that you understand what audience engagement means for yourself? Okay, good. I'll let you ask me some questions now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mehram.
No worries. Thank you.
Does anyone have any question for Mehram? I don't think we've got any in Slido. Anyone's got any? Well, Mehram.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you want to tell us if you've got a stand somewhere around here?
Yes, we do. We're in the tea hall. And in fact, we're actually behind Slido, so you'll find us pretty easily. Okay.
Just right there. So if you've got any questions for Mehram after, feel free to find her there. Thank you so much.